And that's why we have to wear that. And we have to look like it. We have to heal people when we walk by. We have to read the scriptures and go to the Acts of the Apostles. Look at what St. Luke is telling us. When Peter used to walk by going to the temple after Jesus ascended to heaven, they didn't even bother to ask him to lay hands on the sick and the possessed. His shadow will heal them. St. Paul, they will keep clothes from St. Paul when he walked away from those towns. And they will impose that clothes on the sick and they will be healed. But it wasn't Paul's clothes or Peter's shadow. It was Jesus in them. And who do you think we are? We are Peter and Paul because we have the same Christ. And it hasn't been given to them in a bigger portion than has been given to us because God gives to everyone equally. We are the same. We are children of God. And there is no difference between me and Peter and Paul and you. We are all the same. We are the children of God holding the same gifts and the same power and the same light. So sometimes we worry about our loved ones and we say, when will they come in? When will they come into the kingdom? When will they embrace the light and the Lord? They are falling away. Or some of them have never known the Lord. And the answer from the Lord is clear. Become a tower of light so that you can be the guiding light of those that are still sailing in the darkness. As long as they have a light where they can look at, they can always take a decision to go towards the light. And if they remain in the dark, it's because they chose the dark, but it's not because they didn't see the light. So you become the light. You become the tower of light, and that's your job. Your job is not to sit and worry about when they come in. Your job is to really build yourself into a tower of light to make sure that those that want to come can see the light to come. And that's what it is. So at the end, everything sums up in sainthood. Because in order to become a tower of light, I have to become a saint. Oh, how painful it is. It sounds so painful because I know that to become a saint, I really have to give up a lot of things. And those things, I wonder what's going to be of me if I give them up. I wonder what's going to be of my life if I give them up. But I tell you, there is no bigger joy than the joy of he who is holy. No bigger joy. Because he who is holy is holding the Holy One. And the Holy One makes everyone joyful and happy and peaceful and free. So that's the freedom we want to claim. And it's here for us and it's for free. And it doesn't take great preaching. It doesn't take great journeys. It takes one decision in your life. It takes yes to the Lord. That's what it takes. We have to say yes to the Lord. And we say yes to the Lord by kneeling and asking the Lord for the greatest gift of all. Sometimes when I give retreats, at the end of the retreats, I tell people, I'm going to invite you to do something really scary at the end of this retreat. I'm going to get you to kneel, all of you, and to ask the Lord to make you saints. And that's going to be scary because you feel like you're dying when you do that. But I tell you, not until you take that decision of kneeling and asking the Lord for sainthood, you can call yourself a Christian. There is no way you could. How could you? Because if you are not walking to imitate the Holy One, who are you walking to imitate? You either imitating Christ or you imitating Satan. Those are the only two ways to go. So there is no time to waste, because who is to say that you are not going to be called home tonight? And how are you going to come home if you never decided to be part of that home because holiness was not in your agenda? So this is the simple preaching, but the preaching that the Lord wants us to hear deep in our hearts. He wants us to understand that it's not about much of doing, about much of creating, about religion and about spirituality. It's about taking the single decision, the most important one. And I tell you, we have a church that is so perfect, that is so magnificent, that this is what the Lord showed me. The divine liturgy of our church, which is rooted in Judaic traditions. Our divine liturgy is heaven itself, is the city of light. If we are to live a liturgical life, if we are to bring ourselves within the mysteries of the liturgy, we will be walking in heaven already. And if we die living within that liturgy, we will be standing in heaven. So that's why our divine liturgy is heaven on earth. And this is why the center of that divine liturgy is among us, is in this tabernacle behind me. It is there, the center, the heart, the palpitating heart of the liturgy is right here in this tabernacle. So we have to really open our arms and pray to the Lord that He can let us take this magnificent gift truly, because we have to be sincere. If there is something in us that is keeping us from being joyful and hopeful and charitable and merciful and forgiving, it's because we don't have the fullness of the gift in our heart, and something is holding it back. And I know that what is holding it back is us. We ourselves hold it back because of the things we don't want to give up. And you and me, we know perfectly what those things are. We know exactly which ones they are. So the city of Jerusalem is landing, is already landing. And I'm going to share with you something that is mystical, and some people don't want to deal too much with mystical language. But I have no choice, because that is the language I speak. And I tell you, the Lord showed me something incredible. As I travel as a missionary through the holy sites of apparitions of Lourdes, Fatima, Knox,